Bellator 82 goes down this Friday night, November the 30th in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. We will preview the main card for you, as you never know with the prelim card with Bellator. Things change the day before. Fights that were supposed to happen don't happen. And really the main card is all you need to worry about for this Friday's Bellator. A solid main card, though. I quite like this. David Rickels takes on Jason Fischer. Rickels, minus 285, the favorite. Fischer, plus 225, the underdog. This one will be fought at 160-pound catch weight. Rickels, 10 wins, 1 loss. Fischer, 4-0 as a professional. Rickels is coming off a split decision loss to the very tough Kara Amusu on May the 18th at Bellator 69, while Fischer coming off a submission win over 5-2 Kyle Propolic on October 12th at Bellator 76. Rickels, 10 wins, 6 via submission, 2 knockouts, 2 decisions. Fischer, 4 wins, 3 submissions, 1 knockout. Rickels has lost just once, that split decision to Amusu, while Fischer is undefeated. Fischer's been fighting since February 2011, while Rickels, also relatively new in the game, has been fighting since 2010. Rickels was actually undefeated, of course, prior to his last fight on a 10-fight win streak, while Fischer is undefeated on a 4-fight win streak. Rickels is 4-1 in Bellator and 23 years old from Derby, Kansas. This will be Fischer's Bellator debut, or rather second fight in Bellator. He's 1-0. He's 27 years old from Detroit, Michigan. So this will be a hometown crowd for Jason Fischer as he faces David Rickels. Odds makers like Rickels in a major way, but, this is interesting. Fischer undefeated, kind of an unknown factor, plus 225, could be worth a look, but David Rickels going the decision with the very, very tough Kara Amusu. A split decision as well. One of the 3 judges scoring it for Rickels. I think Amusu is a very, very tough dude. And it's worth noting that, one judge actually saw it for Rickels. And I think that David Rickels will win this fight. I think he's just slightly more seasoned, maybe on a different level than Jason Fischer. Fischer maybe taking this fight and getting the fight because it's close to home for him. I'm going to go with David Rickels to end Jason Fischer's undefeated streak on Friday night.
I like Rickels, too. Like you said, seasoned. Like, it's amazing he has 11 fights in just about 2 years. Yeah. It really shows his desire to become great in MMA.
So you like David Rickels. Let's see about the next fight here. Doug Marshall taking on Kala Hose. Marshall, minus 120, the slight favorite. Hose, minus 110. Marshall, 14-6. Hose, 7-5. Kala Hose coming off a TKO round 1 loss to a 23-17 fighter named Edwin Aguilar in his last bout, which was 2 years ago in November 2010. Kala Hose has not fought in 2 years. He's got 7 wins, though, all by knockout. Doug Marshall is coming off a first-round knockout loss to Zel Galesic, an 11-7 fighter, in India on May the 6th of this year for the Super Fight League. Marshall, 14 wins, 9 via knockout, 4 submissions, and 1 decision. So both of these guys like the knockout. Hose has lost 5 times, 3 via submission, once via knockout, and 1 via decision. Marshall has lost 6 times, 5 via knockout, and 1 via submission. Marshall has a TKO victory over LeVar Johnson, a UFC heavyweight, beating him in the WEC back in 2004. While Hose has a TKO win over Phil Baroni, beating him for the Icon Sport promotion in Hawaii in 2008. Hose is 30 years old, has been fighting since 2005. This will be his Bellator debut. While Marshall is 37 years old. He's been fighting as a pro since 2003. This will also be his Bellator debut. He's fighting out of California. Hose is Hawaiian and riding a 3-fight losing skid into this one and hasn't fought in 2 years. For those reasons, I'm going with the slight favorite, Doug Marshall. I think he could be an even heavier favorite. The only thing that worries me here in this fight with Doug Marshall is the fact that Hose has won 7 of 7 via knockout and only been knocked out once. Marshall also likes to throw his hands, but has had, I think, a little bit less success. Yeah, 9 of 14 wins by knockout, but 5 of his 6 losses have come via knockout as well. So he can knock you out, but he can also get knocked out, whereas Hose, I think, is tougher to knock out and has all his wins via knockout. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that he hasn't fought in 2 years and has lost 3 in a row. That doesn't bode well for Kala Hose. I'm going to go with Doug Marshall to get the victory in this fight. Johnny North?
I agree with you again. Like Hose, been gone for so long, you don't know what you're going to get from him. Yeah, he can knock people out, but can he do it now?
Yeah. It's kind of a wild card, right? I mean, you don't know what to expect when a guy hasn't fought in 2 years. But I'm expecting him not to look very sharp. I think cage rust is real. We've talked about it. It's legit.